Okay.
Okay. Okay, let's begin. So today we'll start with a simple coding question. If you working very well with it, we'll follow up with a hard one. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let me copy paste the question. Okay.
All right.
So So okay. You're given a string. Let's say the input is S. Just assume it's lower English letter. So you have to remove duplicates
Okay.
by meaning like say next to each other, adjacent.
Okay.
And if you see like two duplicates you like next to each other, you should remove it. So
Okay.
if we look at the example, okay, the example one is first you actually take out the double B, right?
Right.
After you remove double B, you actually it become AA, right, next to each other. Then you remove double A, right? Then you have CA left. And the
Yes.
C and A is different, so you are no longer removing it. Okay.
Okay.
The next example, if we want to walk through it, it's double X and double Z. Then you have
Right.
AY left. Okay.
Okay.
So basically, I want you to take a string and return me a string. Okay.
Okay. Right. Sounds
Okay.
good.
Go ahead.
So, let me just double check if I understand the question correctly. Input is a string, and I repeatedly remove the duplicates until I have no adjacent duplicate left. Okay. And I'm gonna code this question in Java.
Okay.
So let me just write down the method signature, and then I'm gonna try to go through a solution out loud first. So
Okay.
I'm gonna return a string. Input is also a string. So I'm just gonna take a couple of minutes to think of the solution. So I think what I'm thinking right now, the most the first thought that I can think of is I start scanning from the beginning of the string, and then whenever I see a letter that is whenever I see the next letter is same as me, for example, start A is not equal to B, so I move one pointer to go to B. B is equal to the next one, so I remove this, and I guess I can store it in another string. So
yeah.
So I'll
You probably want to use a data structure to hold the intermediate result, right?
right.
String is more like immutable. You need another data structure to hold whatever during the process, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, string is immutable. So I was thinking I can just create a new string, but I'm guessing that would make me create a lot of new string in the middle. So what I'm thinking is I can turn this into a char array, and then I can go to each I can index into my char array to indicate which character I'm scanning right now. And my intermediate result can
Array
instead
itself is also fixed length, right? I mean,
right.
if, inside the sense, if you take out the BB, it's harder for you
Right.
to
To
find the
reason.
A, right? I mean, you might want to think about a better data structure that mimic the situation, right? More like dynamic, any other data structure.
Okay. Okay. What about what do you think of a string builder? So with removing so I can
Yeah, I mean,
can
any like dynamically structured like a string builder or linked list or even double linked link double ended linked list or stack should work, right? I mean, right, as long as it's dynamically like
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Actually, that's a very useful thing. I think a stack would be more suitable for the situation. Just occurred to me because so what I'm thinking is, right, I repeatedly scan for the same letter. So right now I have I have A on my stack, and then because it's not same as B, so I also put B on there. And the next letter is also B. So in that case, I can remove them. That means first I go to the next character, and then I can also pop the top of pop from the top of the stack until it is not B. And then I'm back
Yeah, you
to
only need to do a pick, right? If it's the same as the pick, you pop it, right?
right. Yes. So
Yeah,
right. Yeah, so I'm at here right now, and I can look at my stack and see that it is again the same character. So I get rid of that.
Now the stack is empty. Okay.
Yes. And then I put C. So I increment my pointer. Now I'm C. So I put C in here, and then I think that is my result array.
Yeah. Well, in the end, you need to convert the stack into a string, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
I think you are ready. You can start coding. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So I think that's the approach I'm gonna go with. So first, have a
you might just use character,
right? Right. Sorry. That makes sense. Okay. Then I can go through each character. So right now I'm just gonna iterate through my string in a for loop. Okay. So my current character S
it's not index of it's char at.
Sorry.
Char
I
at,
have
yeah.
not used Java for quite well. Okay, thank you. Okay, so now I have my current character, and then I can compare. First, I put my character into the stack.
ST, not that. You call it ST, yeah.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. Can I look up the documentation for stack?
I can tell you.
Yeah.
So you want to pop or
Yes,
right now you want to do?
I want to push, but at the moment I cannot.
It's called a push. It's just push. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I will brush up on.
I mean, you don't have to be perfect at the syntax, right? I mean, basically, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot the
Yeah,
names.
if you forget pseudocode, it's also fine. We're not like exactly like seeking like perfect. It doesn't also have like auto completion. Yeah.
Okay.
So you see a character and you push into the stack.
Yes.
Right.
So
that's for a normal case, right?
Yeah. So then so right now I'm here. I'm pushing A into the stack. And then next actually yeah, so that's actually I think the first step is I can compare with my stack first. So in this case, this is empty, so it has nothing to compare. But if, for example, I am at B, so if ch equals
okay.
So for example, my current character is B. It is not the same as A, so I'll just skip this and push it in there. Okay. And then right now I'm at the second B, so it is same as peak. So I will instead then pop.
The API is pop. Yeah.
Okay.
It will pop out the last character in the stack.
Okay, thank you. Right. And so there's another case where there may be
no just this case. I mean just use this case. Don't do other case.
Okay.
The code is not ready yet, I think.
Okay.
Still have issues. Yeah.
Okay.
Just for this for loop. Yeah. Take a look for this for loop.
All Right, I was here. So
Because so now if you see a character the same, you pop, but
yeah.
you're pushing the B again into the stack.
I see.
You no longer wanted the B into the stack, right?
Right. So in that case, I should only push my character if I want to keep it in my final string.
There's one more issue with the follow-up. Think about it. When you're comparing with the character with the peak, do you need to double check here?
Okay.
What else you didn't consider?
So would this be an issue with the API of peak? So like if the stack is empty.
Yeah, if it's empty, yeah, good. You're right on the queue. So if the stack is empty, you'll throw exception, right?
Right.
So yeah, the API is called is empty.
Is empty.
Is empty. Yeah.
Okay.
So if let me see, if it's not empty and so it's empty, you just it go to else. Okay, yeah, that looks good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that looks good. So after the for loop, you basically have the stack ready.
Yes.
But if it's a stack, you now need to build a string from the stack, right?
Yes.
So yeah, because stack, you kind of have to you kind of want to go through it like a forward, right?
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, that is an issue because if I pop it off one by one, I'm gonna end up with a reverse string. So what I'm thinking is I can have an array first, and then so I have because I already know the length of my final string. So I can have an array of this length and then fill the array in from the end. And then finally, I would have
yeah, but that's still extra time to walk us through, right? I mean,
right.
In the beginning, I suggested, right? I mean, stack is intuitive in this, I mean, in the first iteration, right? But because it's the last thing first out, so when you're trying to build a string, it's a little bit awkward because you have to like kind of reverse it, right? Of course, you can. If you just start with just the linked list, I mean, this is more Java specific, but sometimes we have to resort to that. So if you change the stack to linked list, it has all the API stack has. So if you just replace the stack class with linked list, basically it also has like it's empty. For the pick, you can just like get last.
Yeah.
Okay. And for the pop, it has API like remove last. And for the push, it's like add. So basically, if you use linked list class, it's more like a double-ended queue. Yeah, and it has way more, like because with linked list you can also go from the beginning, just do normal iterations, and you have it. You have the string. You know, so you don't have to go through it again. Yeah.
Okay.
So just just follow what I'm saying. Just replace the stack with linked list. Linked list. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't need to change the variable. It's fine. Okay. It's just a name. You don't need to change anything. Empty is fine. Yeah, like this is the last one. Just get last.
Get last.
Yeah. So note that here linked list you do not want to use list. So in Java, list is interface. So the implementing class can be linked list or array list. But if you use like a list instead of linked list, that I mean, what I mean, you can use with linked list. Most of the case we on the left side we use list. Right.
So
but no. What I'm saying in this case, you have to use linked list because linked list itself has more API. Like here, like a remove last. So link like a pop. If you change pop to remove last, then that's something belong to linked list. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think list have it. I could be wrong. I mean, if I want to confirm this, I mean, because our coding pad doesn't have full IntelliSense or something. So yeah. So anyway, so if you have this, you can do like a for loop. Maybe you need string builder to build it, so you don't have to like reversely do it. Yeah.
Makes sense.
All
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the guidance. So yeah, that makes
sometimes
sense.
I'm a big on the API. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think you are struggling with the idea like basically buffer it again, like a reversely something. By the way, collection also string also have stream builder also have like a reverse API, just just reverse it. Yeah. So even if you stack, I think the stream builder has the reverse API, like a method like a reverse.
I see.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
even
but I mean, performance wise, you don't want to walk through it again. Right?
Makes sense.
I mean, if you don't have to, I mean, if we code that way, like a calling reverse, which also works, but it's just the extra time, like doesn't like it kind of wasteful, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is better compared to building a
I
stack
just
and
looked
then
it
reverse.
up. So stream builder does have a method like a sp dot reverse, and it just reverse it. Like,
I see.
yeah. So if you use the stack, it's you originally use a stack, right? If you just keep pop the stack and put append it to the stream builder, it works. Other than you have to call reverse, but they work the same way. Okay.
I see. Okay, but I think I'll stick to link this like you suggested.
For now, yeah. So you don't have to, because reverse internally do a linear scan again, right? So it's actually extra work time. Yeah.
Okay.
You can just do follow up like a char, like a C comma column. Yeah, you don't have to use the index side.
Okay. And then over my stack.
The system time is linked this. Yeah.
Okay. And I believe the API is append.
Yeah.
Okay. Then finally, I have to return it as a string.
Yeah.
Okay. So I believe that's the complete solution.
Okay. Let's pause a little bit. I mean, in a real interview, we won't be pausing, but I just want to give immediate feedback for this problem, so we can proceed to the next one. I have two. The second one will be a little bit harder. Okay. So let's give some feedback on this round. I mean, more like this first part of this round. Okay.
Yeah.
So first of all, how you feel?
To be honest, very nervous. Yeah, I will work on that. Besides that, I think I was struggling. I think I was struggling a little with putting together my
start from beginning one by one. If you have thought, you can talk out loudly. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Let's scroll up to the problem itself. So I was talking about the problem, right? So I think in the beginning, I had to give you hint. Think I mean, I'm not sure. Like I'm kind of like already a very nice interviewer in this sense.
Right.
I think you are going like astray. So how do I say? So basically, for most of case, I mean, you have the sense that this is more like appetite problem, right? The real problem is actually coming later. So if you cannot like solve this problem, you're probably not going to have an offer. Okay.
Yes.
So this is more like appetite problem. The real hard problem will be the next. So I see you already starting to struggle with the like how to solve it. I mean, right? So it's a little bit maybe the bar will be a little bit higher. So the expectation, in my sense, is you should solve this like for a good candidate, you should solve this without any hint and in real quick. Okay. The problem is very straightforward. The solution is not very hard to think about actually. It actually a little bit surprised me, like you try to use the array because I already mentioned the string is fixed. So you basically need a data structure more like the animation or something, right?
Yes.
Already hint so it like now you already written the solution, which I think is good. You can regarding the linked list or not, you might want later. I mean, after we're done with the mock interview, you can try to compile it and run it. Okay, so you have a better memory of what have been. I mean, I'm not 100% sure this is working. Okay.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't look it up fully. Okay. So I basically also be judging your code by my memory on Java or something. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, your Java is a little bit rusty. That's actually not very good. So because it's your main coding language. I mean, you can choose your most strong coding language, but don't. I suggest even you are not. I mean, even you are using Java, right? It's fine. You don't remember every API, right? Even I can say I don't remember every API. Just don't try to say things like, "Oh, I haven't used Java for a long time." That's really not good. Okay, because you chose Java. Okay, never say that. I mean, even people have been written in Java a lot. They could be forgetting something and say because in work we use IntelliJ that will help us with auto completion and stuff, right?
Right.
And we might Google it. So it's totally okay. You don't remember some API. You can even ask the interviewer. Okay, I've kind of I think I forgot what the API is for this. Or you just use pseudocode. In either case, if you are using pseudocode, just say, "Oh, I don't quite remember. I'll just use pseudocode." So just give some name, even like a pop, or even if you are using Q, just call it inq or dq. It's fine. Most interviewer doesn't matter, doesn't mind. Okay, but the saying things like, "Oh, I haven't used Java for a long time."
Yeah, it's a red
It's
flag.
more like a red flag. It's more like a red flag. Yeah.
Okay.
So interview the process is like roughly 30 minutes for coding. Okay. It's you want it's also about the communication and what kind and most importantly, what of impression you want to give to interviewer. Because the interviewer need to know what kind of person you are.
Yeah.
More I mean on the in the area of coding or technical strengths, right? But in the 30 minutes, basically, it's how he or she determine who you are, right?
Yeah.
Basically, you want to him or her to think what kind of person you are. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe not exactly what kind of person you are, but
in technical context.
Yeah, but also like communication sense, right? So basically, what I'm trying to say is don't say things like, "Oh, I haven't used Java for a long time," even though I think maybe you didn't mean it, or even if it's the truth, don't say it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Because whatever try to pretend or whatever, you don't want to give the interviewer a bad impression. Okay. Like I mentioned, even maybe you're actually weak in Java, but you can totally get around it. What I mean is you can say some things like, "Oh, I don't remember this. Can you tell me?" Or I just use pseudocode. Okay. I mean, there's no way for you to perfect it, like to remember every API in Java. I don't think that's like a shortcut there, right? But since you choose the language, I expect you to write something with it. I mean, I don't even expect you to be perfect on it, but I mean, I expect, okay, you forget some API, right? It's okay to ask or just pseudocode. I think if I were you, I would just do just pseudocode, like do pop. Yeah, I think you are if because I'm a nice interviewer, I tell you this is pop, this is pop, or the other one is like a push, right? Otherwise I don't know how you're gonna survive this actually. Right? So the problem I see is that really you should not be embarrassed by it or be like like intimidated by it. I feel like you're like trying to, I don't know even where you're gonna go. If I'm not telling you the API, what will you do actually?
You mean when I was struggling to
Yeah, because you were saying like, "Oh, I don't know if the stack has API." Are you gonna Google search it or something?
I I probably will. I mean, I had interviews that just allowed me to search, but I think so. In that case, what would be the best option?
Because that would be slower, right? I mean, you need to. I mean, if you can act quick, like jumping between things, like look it up but you are talking about it. Are you gonna tell me I'm gonna look it up?
So in normal interviews, should I just ask the interviewer then?
Still, right? So I'm trying to talk sense about like what kind of impression you want to leave to the interviewer, right? So if you are the interviewer, what will give you best impression, right? Basically. If you're telling me you are like you don't know use Java for a while and you're gonna look it up, just because for me stack may be a very basic. I may have a bad impression, right? And also depend on the speed, right? If you have to look it up and come back and this really takes time, it's not really good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so basically my recommendation is twofold, right? If you gonna look it up and get back quickly, it's okay, but don't say it out loud. I mean, don't tell the interviewer you are looking it up or something. I don't think that's good. Okay. If you cannot guarantee you can get back in time by looking up, I would just go with pseudocode. You can just tell the interviewer I'm writing pseudocode, or I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure the method name, so I'll just pseudocode it. It's totally fine. Okay. The interviewer might hint you with the correct method name.
Okay.
Right. Note that some company might be really strict on because they use CodePad, it might have IntelliSense, so you may not have this problem. Okay. And they might even ask you to compile and run it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some company does that. Okay. Let me try to recall what else. Yeah, I think the first is the solution, right? So you were fixing on like array, which is really I was like, oh, that's not gonna work out, right? So yeah, I mean, that's need a little bit. Yeah. Okay, the next one, I think in the coding itself, I think your coding speed is pretty good. The other part is, yeah, I mean, the other part is I think is fine. Use basically a little bit of rusty on the API, I guess, like the for loop you can for the list you can just do this kind of for loop, right? Like maybe you don't remember append method, right? Yeah, I mean that you should remember for string builder, right? That's append. Yeah, the other part I think is fine, but yeah, we'll see about the next problem. Okay. Any answer you want to say?
No.